Why is Greenland in the news all of a sudden, and for all the wrong reasons? It merits a bit of study and analysis because it heralds an era of a paradigm shift in global geopolitics. Let me explain. Donald Trump, the second coming of Donald Trump happened on 20th of January this year, and it was a grand media spectacle. The initial attention, however, was focused on his pronouncements and signing of the various executive orders that pertain to internal security. There was much talk of the emergency on the Mexico border. There was talk of illegal migrants being deported, etc., etc. And in the hoopla, the world just about forgot about the seismic nature of the pronouncements that Donald Trump had made on international politics and geopolitical landscape. In fact, these pronouncements were of such significance that they amounted almost to a paradigm shift, right? And the simple fact is that Donald Trump had said that he wanted to make Canada the 51st state of the United States. Donald Trump had said that America needed for its national security interests Greenland. It was prepared to buy it from the Dutch, and if not, that was not feasible. Donald Trump was quite unblazed. He was prepared to take it by military force if necessary. This announcement sent shock waves around the globe. Amazing fact is, first 2-3 days it was just not noticed. It's now coming to light that these are significant, very, very significant statements. So what has made Greenland so important? I'll focus primarily on Greenland in this discussion. Why is Greenland acquired such overwhelming geostrategic significance that it can bring about a paradigm shift in the nature of global international security architecture? The fact is simple. Because of climate change, our geography has changed. Let me re-emphasize that. Climate change has changed our very geography. The entire Arctic ice cap, the polar ice cap, has more or less melted. And there has been a 37% increase in the seaborne traffic through the Arctic between 2013 and 2023. That has been the seismic nature of the change. And this change in geography brings concomitant changes in military geography, and that affects geopolitics. So with that as a preamble, let me go into some details. Greenland is at the mouth of the Greenland, Iceland, UK gap. This is the gap in the ocean, and the significance is that the Soviets had their port in Murmansk, and that was the home base of the Soviet Navy in the Soviet era. From this Greenland gap, Greenland, Iceland, UK gap, the Soviet Navy could break out towards the Atlantic Ocean and sever the sea lines of communication between United States and United Kingdom. That was the significance of this Murmansk, this thing, and therefore for a long time the United States Navy used to seriously consider a preemptive Murmansk strike, capture the home base of the Soviet Navy. All that remained in the realm of conjecture. Nothing really happened. The Cold War never became that hot. But the fact is that this was a very geostrategic corridor of very great significance. The significance of this has been enhanced many folds by the simple fact that the ice in the Arctic has melted. Previously, you couldn't go through the polar ice cap You had to use ice cutters for a single ship to make its way with great difficulty. Now, like I said, 37% increase in the sea traffic. The Russians are trying to claim the Arctic. The Chinese are trying to muscle in onto the Arctic. And in 2018, the Chinese said that they want to create a corridor, as part of their Belt Road initiative, a beltway that would link China to Europe via the Arctic Ocean, right, which is now totally navigable, or for the most part navigable, and the level of sea traffic is increasing by the day. As global warming increases, the ice caps will melt faster and there will be no ice pole left, no North Pole left. It will be all the sea. The sea passage would have opened on the top of the globe. That is what is bringing about seismic changes in geopolitics. By the Treaty of 1951 that was signed between the United States and Denmark, the United States had 3 bases in Greenland, and these bases were the bases of Thule, Sanderstorm and Neersatssorg. Today, the United States has just 1 base left. Interestingly, there was another treaty between the United Kingdoms and Denmark in 1917, by which the United Kingdom claimed that it had first rights to either buy Greenland or to secure Greenland. So now that the United States wants Greenland, it will have to engage in talks with the United Kingdom also, because that is another contender in the field. Of course, the power equation from 1970 to date, there is absolutely no comparison in the relative power of the United Kingdom and the United States. It has seen a sea change. So this melting of the polar ice cap has changed the geography, has changed the military geography, and has changed the geopolitics, and that is what explains the importance of Greenland now. And that is why there is this flurry to buy Greenland or take Greenland, and the United States is ready to go to even engage in a military conflict if it has to, but it wants to secure its rights. Now, this is the first factor. There is a second factor. That second factor is that we've seen that in the Russia-Ukraine war has underlined the importance of missile defense, the importance of intercontinental ballistic missiles, the crucial significance of hypersonic missiles like the Oceanic intermediate range ballistic missiles, which are hypersonic and have multiple re-entry vehicles which are independently targetable, so-called MIRV. There has been a sea change, a seismic shift in the criticality of missiles, intercontinental ballistic missiles, hypersonic missiles, which are proving to be unstoppable. Now, not only does Russia have these missiles, it is also China that has these missiles in plenty, hypersonic missiles. Even India has made progress in the field of hypersonic missiles. So, there is a sea change as far as the arena of missile defense is concerned. The United States is deeply concerned, and Donald Trump now wants to create an impenetrable iron dome to defend America. Now, there is a bit of a problem there. It's an excellent thing in theory, but in actual practice, translating this iron dome to cover the whole of the United States is a monumental task. Israel is all of 20,000 square kilometers. The United States is the 3rd largest country in the world, and it is 9.2 million square kilometers. So, if you had to replicate Iron Dome to defend the United States, it would have to be about 490 times or almost 500 times bigger than the Iron Dome that defends Israel. And hold your breath, it would cost a whopping $2.9 trillion. The entire defense budget of the United States today is between $800 to $900 billion. So, it is multiple times the order of the defense budget of the United States. Can this be done? Let's take our minds back to the Ronald Reagan area, right? Let's take our mind back to the Ronald Reagan area when he had wanted to start the Star Wars project, famous Star Wars project of anti-ballistic missile defense shield for America, which would secure it forever from the threat of Russian missiles then and now even Chinese or North Korean missiles. But the simple fact is that Donald Trump was never able to create such a shield. It was even speculated that this was just a kite flying to force the the Soviets to increase their defense expenditure to a point that they would suffer an economic collapse. The Soviet Union did undergo an economic collapse in 1990, but that was more because the price of oil had been put in free fall and not because of the Star Wars anti-ballistic missile shield that the United States was working on. Now Donald Trump has given 60 days to the Pentagon to come up with a plan to create a foolproof defense of the United States from any missiles, hypersonic or supersonic or intercontinental ballistic missiles. As of now, it is defenseless, period. We have anti-ballistic missiles, we have early warning systems in place, but their efficacy in actually stopping any hypersonic or ICBM is absolutely open to question. Russia just demonstrated its arsenic by hitting a live target in Ukraine in the Dnipro factory and destroyed that factory. And nothing, despite the warnings that they had given, nothing that the US or NATO or Ukraine could do could stop that missile. So how do you stop these missiles, and what is Donald Trump's Iron Dome project, super Iron Dome project likely to look like? It is critical to our national security. And to that extent, national security is overriding. To hell with globalization, to hell with the global order, to hell with the rule-based order. American interests take primacy. It is part of that MAGA, Make America Great Again. But in so doing, it is a throwback to the multipolar era of World War I, World War II, where Hitler, if he wanted lemon syrup, Hitler, if he wanted the industrial resources of the Soviet Union, the iron, the coal, the oil, the gas, the food crops, then he said, well, we will simply take over the Soviet Union. Hitler had marched into the Low Countries in the West first, bought peace with the Russians by the Ribbentrop-Molotov Pact. He secured temporary peace, captured the whole of Western Europe till the English Channel, taken France, switched around, attacked the Soviet Union. So are we back to that era? We may be heading back to that era. In theory, there is nothing to really separate the two, except it's a matter of degree to what length you are prepared to go. And the total war concept is now based upon nuclear weapons, which could, end there are no winners and no losers in a nuclear war, unless you are able to protect yourself in a foolproof, leak-proof umbrella. Ronald Reagan tried to create that umbrella, did not succeed. Whether Donald Trump will succeed in replicating the Iron Dome to protect the entire territory of the United States remains to be seen. It may seem a bridge too far, but it is already sending seismic shock waves through the globe. Thank you.